Hello, GSD. This is Shanan Steere coming to you from importing in to Honolulu. Meet Dan Ihara. I got to meet Dan. Gosh, Dan, it was probably like 2013 when I brought Bold for the very first time to Honolulu, and your team supported it. And then I saw you again like 6 months later when I went back and taught it again. I know. I was looking at all those Bold trophies up there.
13.
So I am so excited to bring him today. He's actually helping my sister buy a house in Honolulu right now. And he is the master of all kinds of systems. And how long have you been in Gary's top 100 group, Dan?
Since 8 years, since we started with Keller Williams.
Okay. Awesome. So tell us the makeup of your team.
So we have, I think I should know this better, 28 of us, I believe. 8 are virtual assistants. 6 of them are in Philippines and 2 are in India. And then we have the buy team and the list team and then admin and marketing in total. And then we have an ISA team as well. So there's 2 in the ISA. There's on my listing team, there's 5 actually, but they do buy and sell, right? Okay. And then the buy team, we have 3 just buy, right? And then we have an admin support team as well, because we're a very high touch model.
I can only imagine how maybe not sensitive, just how crucial those relationships are with people moving from across the world or different countries like my sister is, and how much more work it is than just like a mainland buyer.
Yeah, a lot of it's on the buy side, it's education, right? We have to educate them on the local market. I was born here. I left when I was 5. I came back when I was 15 and spent most of my life here on this planet, here on the islands, traveling around the world every year. And this is always going to be home. So we got really good at the market, right? We understand the market. Out of 7,500 realtors in Hawaii, we've been in the top 10 in the last 10 years. So we've been in the top 100 in the last 16 years.
Okay.
So we do quite a bit of business here.
How many deals did you guys close last year?
Last year was a down year. It was the first year actually we went down. It was 135.
Okay. And what's your average price there? Just for the rest of us like me, just entertain us.
Yeah, now it's up at about 950.
Okay.
Yeah.
About 950. That's awesome. So I want to start, Dan, something you said in our pre-interview was about education, and that you've built a lot of your database on the back end of seminars. Talk to us about that.
So I started doing seminars when I first started in real estate. So imagine this, Shannon. I'm the youngest of 6. So my brother above me, that's the guy that you never like to listen to. Well, he tells me get into seminars, and he was doing real well in the reverse mortgage market for seniors. He said, these seniors are selling their homes, man. You should probably capture that. And then finally, I listened to him. 6 months in becoming a licensed realtor, I committed $24,000 a year to the newspaper to promote these seminars. Right. So every week we had a newspaper ad. I wrote an article, 3/4 page, and it cost me $2,000 a month. And so every month we did that. We did our very first seminar, and we didn't know if anybody'd show up. We packed the house at a hotel here in Hawaii, and we got our very first listing at $1.3 million. It's funny how God works. It just showed up, right? I mean, it paid for our entire year's advertising in one listing. And then we said, well, let's just try it again and see if it works. Well, I got to tell you, we've done over 1,200 of these seminars.
Wow.
We did at one point of our career, we did 8 to 10 a month. And we were getting on the peak of our systems, we did about a 20% conversion ratio from the number of groups that show up to the number of appointments that we get. Once we get the appointment, these are all listing appointments, by the way, or sell by. We do a lot of 1031 exchange business, right? Mm-hmm. And so out of all the appointments, about 90% of those converted. So we knew we had a system in place that if we just got, really, if we got 10 groups in there, 2 of them are going to get appointments, and likely all those are going to turn into business, right? And if we did this, a couple times a week, wow, we'd have a pretty thriving, in just one pillar of our business, which is really good. So we became known for education. I've spoken at every financial institution in our state. I've spoken at every bank in our state. I've spoken at every trust company in our state. I've spoken at every retirement community in our state. care home. I mean, I've literally done a lot of this stuff, right? And what had happened was people started calling me to, hey, I heard you have the information. Can you come to my Lions Club? Or can you come to my, some kind of club, a financial planners club or something? And it was allowed us to do a group listing appointment. That's
Wow.
what I call it, a group listing appointment. See, if they show up, they came because they're motivated. They want to learn something, right? If you don't want to learn anything about selling a home, why would you show up? So we pre-qualify them just by them showing up, right? And so when they show up, we basically tell them what we do. It's a listing appointment. We give them examples of people's success, of what works, what doesn't work. Along the way, though, Shannon, we built a number of ancillary businesses that have built what we call, and we've trademarked in the United States, the complete solution for real estate, which is obviously our real estate team, which is buying, selling, and investing, right? We have an investment division as well. And then we have a company called Senior Move Managers and Declutter Hawaii, right? So one of the biggest challenges with older adults, see, during the downturn, when there's no listings, the only people are moving is because they have to move, right? Mm-hmm. Something happened, there was a life change, an incident that required them to move. And during this time, they don't know how to deal with stuff, right? They don't know how to deal with their personal belongings. Where does everything go? Where do I go? Right? So we became the placement company for this demographic of 60 to 90-year-old adults that had wealthy land, right? And we became that solution where, yeah, we can tell you what life looks like, how much does it cost, what is involved in getting in, the people that are there, because we moved in thousands of people, hundreds of people in these retirement communities, that we had the experience to speak at that level. And then people started just calling and wanting info. The state of Hawaii, the city and county of Honolulu, the Office of Public Guardian, Elderly Affairs Division, Adult Protective Services, they've all called and said, hey, can you come and share with our team of service providers? And that's really helped us be able to provide a higher level of service to folks. So we have Senior Move Managers, Declutter Hawaii. We started a property management firm called HI Property Management, HI. We have about 220 doors that we manage there.
Wow.
We're kind of, we need to hire more people already just because we have 2 people there that just can't keep up with the volume. We started a staging company because we were doing staging for free. So we monetized that. One of our buyer's agents was really good at it. She had a store, Tiffany, and now she's our top buyer's agent. Now we're leveraging her. We just hired another stager to take her place to scale the business because she can make more money selling real estate. Let's see, we started a coaching and training company called The Complete Solution, coaching and training. And also we started construction management consulting services for folks that want to renovate or build homes. So I partnered with a general contractor that does fabulous work, and they need somebody that can help them design and execute and manage the general contractor. So we're building a $1.3 million home today in a valley not far from my house for a client, 2 doctors that they just needed help with. So we built the complete solution. Whether you want to buy, sell, invest, rent, move, clean, declutter, we have the solution for you.
So how many different streams of income is that for you, Dan?
I think we have 9 now.
Okay. I think that's probably one of the most important things that I heard is that when you see opportunity that you take advantage of it, because I mean, obviously, and you're in a captive audience, right? On an island. So there may not be a lot of those different people, like different companies. Okay, that's awesome.
There's 3 other companies that we're on the dockets to build. One is a cleaning company, which we're interviewing a guy, a friend of ours, who's building the pro forma around that. We're getting closer there because every home that we sell, every property we manage has to be cleaned. Why we're paying that to somebody else, right? Repair company called Repair Hawaii. And then the one that I'm most interested in is a insurance company. Because we have a joint venture with a title company. We had one with a mortgage company, but we don't have an insurance company. So that's the next thing for us.
Now, how many? So that'll be 3 more streams. So that'll be 12 streams. You also have profit share too.
Yeah.
Are you an owner?
Yes. I'm an investor in Keller Williams Honolulu and Keller Williams in Maui. Maui's doing really, really well.
Maui's kicking tail.
Yeah, yeah.
I had the opportunity to meet Lisa
It's amazing.
prior to her taking the job when I
Yeah.
was there teaching Bold the second time.
Right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Long time ago. Fabulous lady. How many people are in your database now from doing all these seminars time over time again?
I think it's 17 or 18,000. I think we're close to 18,000. Well, it's not only the seminars, right? But it's any data, like Gary says, feed the database, touch it every day, right? And that's what we do. So everybody that walks into any one of our listings, we're going to have their data. Yeah. And so today's market, listings are king, and we'll bring on 10 to 12 a month of listings. And, people show up in groups of, 30 to 50 groups every week, every Sunday.
So you're still doing the seminars?
Yes, yes. We did one, about 3 weeks ago, which we got 5 appointments, which turned out to about 16 pieces of business. Because we do a 1031 exchange seminar.
Right. Which in your area is probably, a lot of business, right? 1031s.
Yes. Yeah. Anything that's not, well, here's the thing is, the reason why we got into 1031 is because Gary Keller always tells us, you be clear on what your bullseye is, right? What's your target market? For us, it's a wealthy older adult. See, the wealthy older adult has gonna likely occur a health challenge or change at some point. They're gonna need help with their home. So we have the solution for their primary residence. But at the same time, they have a problem with their investment properties. And I asked this question, how many of you have heard of a family who fought over real estate after mom and dad died? Why does that happen, right? We think that the trust keeps it safe. Well, it keeps it safe from probate. It doesn't keep it safe from your family. Mm-hmm. So who's helping plan your real estate holdings? Who's helping create a legacy with your real estate? And that's what separates us, is that we go to legacy planning sessions with folks that, I say at the end of the day, you have 5 investment properties, they're doing really well in your mind because they're doing well because they're occupied. When we do an asset performance test, we run a cash analysis, we run a cap rate analysis, and we say that, well, based on these numbers, here's what it's producing. Here's what your asset's performing at. If you sold this asset and increase your income, would you want to do it? Everybody says yes. It's an easy conversion ratio, right? As long as people are considering doubling their money, basically, because that's essentially what we do for folks. We double their money.
Wow. So how do you manage?
Sorry?
Yeah. How do you manage 17,000 people in this database? How do you work them?
Well, they get an email every week from us, but we have an ISA team that contacts them. They're on the phones. They have 200 dials a week each, 20 contacts on conversations a day. And they're the ones that are really focused on that. I personally, I don't have that time. I don't have the luxury of doing that. I do block out an hour to 2 hours every day though, on following up on the lowest hanging fruit. Okay, every day my job is to get a listing appointment. And I'm gonna look at the market that I believe has got the easiest chance of that. So the nurturing is done by our inside salespeople.
So talk to me about lead sources. Obviously, this is a giant lead source for you.
Yes.
What are some of your other lead sources?
Honestly, it's our database. Really, we have so many. We have 17, 18,000 on our database. Why do I need to call somebody that doesn't like us, right? They have no idea. But a lot of it today, we're getting a lot of business from our open houses, right? Inventory is lean. There's not many choices for buyers. Sellers, they're comparing properties, but there's not many to look at. So we can clearly define if they're buying or selling, or if they have an agent in the first, minute that they come up to their property. Okay. And so we're qualifying them early.
What's the average number of people that come to an open house in Honolulu?
On a single family home, average is 80 to 100.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, no, there's now because of COVID, we have a restriction. Before we didn't have a restriction interior. Now it's 10. So there will, in some cases, there will be a line outside. At the peak of their market, which is probably about 2 months ago, people were waiting a half an hour to walk in a home. We had 42 offers on the listing. We got 250,000 over the list price. It was outrageous. So my focus is getting more of those, right? I mean, that's all I do is listings. I mean, buyers are easy to come by. Listings are king. Because I spent that much time on it, you know, we're gonna have a robust pipeline of probably 10 to 12 for the next 3 months that we see, or maybe more.
So I'm certain that people on here are like, what do you do at your open house to get that many people there, Dan? How do you market it?
Everything. So we, social media, obviously, email. Imagine you got 17,000 people. Many of those came from an open house. Many of them still are looking. They're going to get an email from us, right? And it's so funny because some of them, they've come to 3 or 4 of them, and they just call and say, you know what, I got to work with you guys because you guys have all the inventory. I need to sell. Can you help me sell? I need you to help me find something because you guys control the market in certain areas. And that's helped us a lot. So the open houses are really, we're very intentional with our time. Our open houses, they have either 2 to 3 people there hosting it. We have a host that finds out initially if they're represented or not. And if they're not, we're going to find out how we can serve them and help them. And then they're going to get followed up on. So even if they have an agent, we're just going to ask them questions. How do you like the open? Create opportunities, because many of these folks that have agents, they're not happy. They just don't tell you that, right? If they're happy, we're just going to back off and say, have a great day. But what we're finding is people are kind of trained to say, yes, I have an agent, but I don't really know who they are.
Yeah, that's a script, right?
Just look at
it. Of course I do.
Yeah.
So what's your system for capturing that many people's info that quick?
They got to stand in line. So what we do is we have these posters, we have these point of orders. We take your health and our health and the health of all visitors very seriously. With that, we're going to ask you to, we slow down the whole process because it allows us to engage with them. We have hand sanitizers. Oh, could I please sanitize your hands? Oh, what brought you in while you're doing this? Okay, after that's dried up, takes a few seconds, right? Well, here's a mandatory COVID form we call, which is a sign-in sheet.
Yep.
Right. And they are required to let us know if they have an agent and then all their information that's on there. They got to sign it. Right. We take their temperature. So we have a very robust COVID protocol that started right when COVID came out. Yeah. And we've kept the same model. And what's interesting about this, Shannon, is clients that have come to all of our open houses and end up starting to work with us, they work with us because one guy says, you absolutely certainly have got your shit together. Excuse me.
You remember the name of the group. You're good.
I mean, it was funny because I had my listing manager and my chief negotiator, and they saw this and said, yeah, man, we got our stuff together. And that's what the public sees, right? So if you can command the inventory and you can show the public that you have systems in place that will keep people safe, right? And have systems in place that get business out of the people that show up. You'll be amazed at what will show up.
I love that. So that's a huge message, I think, for everybody. And I know Hawaii was really restrictive.
Yes.
Because I had a planned trip to Maui, which I probably should have went last year at the beginning of March. And I just got a little nervous and pulled it, and then I never got to go back. And I mean, you guys were uber strict during that time. What happened on your island during COVID?
It was really scary, actually. Well, there were no visitors. I go down to the beach every day, twice a day. I'm only 6 minutes away from the ocean. As you can tell, I like the ocean. And I watch every sunrise and sunset. But in the sunset in COVID times, imagine all of Waikiki being dark. On the side of the largest hotel, which is the Sheraton, there's a big heart. Everything else is dark.
Wow.
It was eerie. If you walk down the middle of Kalakaua, which is the main road in Waikiki, and you could stand in the middle, no cars. It was really bad. Everything was shut down. I mean, basically, you couldn't leave your home unless you had you were an essential worker. That's how bad it was. Fortunately, in real estate, we're essential workers. Fortunately, the only activity you could do is go to the beach or the ocean. You couldn't be on the beach. You could pass the beach, but you couldn't sit on the beach. Your feet had to keep moving. So for a guy like me, I surf every day, man, that was heaven for me. I surf twice a day. Nobody around.
Nobody's out there.
It was out there. It was great. It was great. But yeah, the way we pivoted was doing virtual seminars. The way we pivoted is our COVID protocols that kind of separated us from, nobody else does what we do. It's just too much work for most people.
Well, and isn't that what separates the very top people anyway?
Yes. Yes.
It's just too much work for people.
Yes.
I was teaching a class called Get the Plan yesterday in Northwest Indiana. And, we were talking about what's your cadence of your morning? What's your start time? What's your walk-on song? How do you get started so that your store's ready to open when you're open to the public? And I was amazed with people that are like, you have a start time every day? I'm like, yeah, like every day at 8:30, we are in person or on Zoom. And that's the cadence of the day, right? That gives you the roll of the week.
Yeah, one of the things that we started probably about almost 2 years ago, we didn't know how long we actually do it, is we have a daily huddle. It's just like you, right? 8:30, everybody shows up. With COVID, people couldn't even come to the office, so we shut our office down. Mm-hmm. And we have a 5-bedroom house, of which 4 bedrooms are now offices. So everyone's at my house every day. Yeah. Okay, this is my house. This is an office in my house, right? And which is super fun because one of our guys is a chef and he's cooking amazing chicken curry now. Can't wait to, awesome. Yeah, it was incredible. But where I was going with that was, where was I going with that? During COVID, we had to pivot, right? Keep costs down, right? We had to find efficient ways to get things done. We did virtual open houses. We did virtual seminars. We did, actually in the month of May of 2020, I did 8 brand new seminars that month. I did 2 a week. I wrote 8 seminars from scratch. Don't ever consider doing that again. that was, I don't know what I was thinking. It was stupid. I did it and it wore me out. But there's a lot of, and if you go to our Facebook page, you'll see it all. It's all free. Right? You can look at all the education and training that we put out to the public. What's the name of your team so they can follow you? Ihara Team. IHARA Team. TEAM.
Okay, awesome. One more thing, I want you to talk about circle prospecting. You guys do take advantage of having listings. What are your ways to get more business off of listings? Because right now, as agents, can you guys do pre-MLS there?
Yes.
Okay. Some states cannot. Some states are getting locked down right now, which is fascinating. And, our listings are selling so fast everywhere. Okay. Besides open houses, which I think is brilliant, like especially at that level, how else are you getting business off of your listing?
So our goal is to get the listing signed minimum of 2 weeks prior to going live, right? And we have a plan in the system. We have a listing manager that gets it ready from cleaning, decluttering, repair work, staging, photos, marketing, all that. That one person's job is this listing manager. But so what we do is once we get it signed 2 weeks out, we put a sign out front saying coming soon. Once that sign goes up, the phone rings. Now, what has to happen, what we found is we do this thing called an intel sheet, meaning the people who are getting those calls have to know the property, right? Because it's going to sound pretty bad if they, I don't even know that's there, right?
Yeah.
So our team is designed to do the intel sheet, which has everything that anybody would normally ask on a phone call, right? And that'll help them bring credibility to the call and hopefully convert that to an appointment. And we're getting a lot of appointments that way as well, sign calls. The other thing we do on Sundays is we put the signs, the open house directional signs out. We got 58 of them now. We put them out at 5 or 6 in the morning, and they stay out till 6 or 7 at night. And it says open 2 to 5. And people have constantly, since we started doing that, we call them swarm signs. Once we started doing that, people kept saying, man, I see you everywhere. Well, we're the same place that we've always been, just that they see us more often.
So swarm signs. I love it. Did you put 58 out per house?
Per Sunday.
Per
So
Sunday.
how
Okay.
about 10 each, 10 to 12 each? That's a lot.
Yeah.
And you're putting them on major traffic areas. So sometimes you're just far away, but it's the only day you can have free marketing, right? And nobody does this. Why? It's work again. It's that one 4-letter word that people don't like. And I'm shocked because we've been doing this for shoots about 6 months now. I thought, no, somebody's going to figure this out. Somebody's going to do it. Never happened yet. They only put it out at 1:30 before the 2 o'clock open house. And they put 2 of them out.
Yeah.
And so that's free marketing.
So it sounds to me like besides, I mean, the Ihara team like really separates yourself with doing the stuff that other people aren't willing to do. What else separates you?
A lot of the systems we have, the virtual assistants are amazing. We have playbooks for everything. So if it's the minute a phone call happens where somebody says, I'd like to meet to talk about something, it goes right into a calendar event. And they populate the calendar event with everything I need, which is the tax record, the permits, the plat map, anything that they can buy, association doc, anything they can find online. Our virtual assistants already populating that. And then they create Google Drive of that listing. They'll pull the satellite view off the property that goes on the listing presentation. Basically our listing presentation can be done in 15 minutes. From the time somebody calls me to the time it's actually produced. It's created there, it's brought here. The other thing we do now is because of multiple offers, all of our offers go to listing at Ihara Team, and our virtual assistants get that. They stack rank them for us, right? They put everything that we want to see. So at a high level, I can look at a sheet, and then we use that same form to deliver it to the client to really give that wow experience for the client. We start with the lowest, we go to the highest. Yesterday we had 2 opens that we had listings. We do a 10-day blitz that the Burns had created. So we have an open house, another open house, all offers are due. We create that auction effect. And then when we deliver it to the client on a Tuesday, we start with the lowest and we explain everything, and it gets better and it gets better. And we get to see their excitement. And they're like, you're kidding, what? They're willing to pay that much money? That's great. Right? And then we get down to creating a strategy of, here's our suggestion. 100% of the time they listen. Right? Yeah. And so we already have that countered. The VA sends it out. I mean, it's just, everything is small steps. Like Gary says, think big and go small. Mm-hmm. It's those small steps that will make the difference in the scalability of your business and the level of service that the population will see and experience.
Well, I love the swarming of the signs, and I can't wait for everybody to watch this video. It'll be published next Wednesday at noon in GST. Thank you, everybody, for joining Dan and I today. Have a fantastic Wednesday and rock it out.
Thanks, everybody. Aloha.